to the headlines. The President of the Republic receives the U.S. Ambassador to Algeria, Elizabeth Moore-Oben, at her request. The two sides are ready to work together during Algeria's term at the UN. The President of the Republic receives the head of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, Canal. The death toll of the floods in Libya keeps rising. The Interior Minister extends Algeria's condolences, and the first Algerian aid already in Tripoli. Welcome back. First off, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Wednesday the Ambassador of the United States of America to Algeria, Elizabeth Moore-Oben, at her request. The meeting took place in the presence of the Private Principal Secretary of the Presidency of the Republic, Nadir Al-Arbawi. Following the reception, the U.S. Ambassador to Algeria made the following statement.
First, I would like to convey my deep thanks to President Tebboune for hosting me to discuss the strong, growing U.S.-Algeria partnership. We value our long-term continued partnership with Algeria to advance regional stability. And I conveyed to the President that the United States is very grateful for Algeria's efforts to support its neighbors following natural disasters that have been devastating and have claimed thousands of lives. Of course, I wish the President a very safe and productive trip to New York for the UN General Assembly, and we would look forward very much to working with Algeria on UN General Assembly priorities, and especially during Algeria's tenure on the UN Security Council and the UN Human Rights Council. It's an honor to be included on these councils and also a very important responsibility. And finally, we discussed at length the strength and depth of the U.S.-Algeria economic partnership. And as I've said before, I believe that launching a direct flight from Algiers to New York would catapult our relationship to a whole new level, strengthening our partnership through increased trade and tourism, as well as our cultural connections.
The President of the Republic received members of the enlarged Bureau of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, chaired by Kamal Moula, at their request. The meeting was an opportunity to expound the concerns of economic operators who praised the important decisions taken by the President to promote the economic sector in the country. The meeting took place in the presence of the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency of the Republic, Nadir Al-Arbawi, the Minister of Finance, Aziz Al-Fayed, the Minister of Industry and Pharmaceutical Production, Ali Aoun, the Minister of Trade and Promotion of Exports, Tayyib Zitouni, and the Director General of the Algerian Agency for the Promotion of Investment, Omar Arakhash. Following the audience, Kamal Moula had this to say.
أود أن أشكر السيد رئيس الجمهورية على هذا اللقاء اللي كان جد وجد مهم يعني وجاب.
This meeting, which comes after the report we handed to the President of the Republic, was very interesting, during which we tackled several issues as well as the problems facing our enterprises. So far, the President of the Republic has taken important decisions to help our economic partners. Our Council remains always at the service of our country, economy and people.
وكذلك لتحل مشاكلهم.
Pursuant to the instructions of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Minister of Interior, Brahim Marad, accompanied by the Minister of National Solidarity, Kauthar Krikou, the Minister of Health, Abdelkader Sayhi, as well as the President of the Algerian Red Crescent, arrived in the capital of Libya, Tripoli, where they were received by the Minister of Transportation, the Minister of Social Affairs, the Minister of Youth, and the official in charge of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Interior and the delegation accompanying him were later received by the President of the Libyan Presidential Presidential Council, Mohammed Yunus Al-Manfi, where he conveyed to him the condolences of the President of the Republic and to the state of Libya and to the brotherly Libyan people and the ordeal that befell them following the floods that hit the country and left many victims and missing individuals. In the same context, the first Algerian aid decided by the President of the Republic is already in Tripoli, a move highly appreciated by the Libyan government and people since it further consolidates the already excellent relations between the two brotherly countries. More details in this story by Hisham Sadawi, taken up by Najah Tayyar.
Arrived on Tripoli Airport tarmac, significant humanitarian aid consisting of food products, medical equipment, clothing and tents, and was unloaded from the military aircraft belonging to the air forces of the People's National Army. The Libyans were impressed and moved by the solidarity. It's a notable initiative from the Algerian people to come to the aid of the Libyan people. I thank the Algerian government for this valuable aid. The two peoples have always supported each other in difficult times. We appreciate the unwavering support of the Algerian people for the Libyan people. Algeria is a great country with a great people, and you are the first to come for our aid with these 4 planes which have just landed on the tarmac of the Tripoli airport, and we are waiting the arrival of other Algerian planes. This denotes the fraternal and historical relations binding the two peoples. I thank the Algerian state and the people infinitely for their unwavering support. Moreover, I am pleasantly surprised to see this huge support with planes transporting equipment and the fast response from the Algerian Civil Protection coming to help the victims of this disaster. Honestly, I have no words to express my gratitude to Algeria. The Algerian delegation was welcomed by the Libyan authorities as well as the Algerian ambassador to Libya. Today we are very happy to see the government and the Algerian people surge solidarity with the Libyan people after the disaster which affected the east of Libya, in particular the city of Derna submerged by floods, and I once again reiterate my sincere thanks to the Algerian people and at their head the Algerian high authorities for their commitment to the unconditional solidarity without limits with the Libyan people. Algeria and Libya have an exemplary historical relations. We are one people. Moreover, the Algerian people, at their head the Algerian president, have always been committed to unconditional solidarity without limits with the brotherly Libyan people with a view to helping them overcome this painful ordeal. This first humanitarian aid dispatched by Algeria has been delivered on Tuesday evening on 4 planes, while waiting for the delivery of the rest of the aid via the bridge decided by the President of the Republic. After the rescue team's arrival at Tripoli Airport, we intend to directly head to the field to help our Libyan brothers, thanks in particular to the intervention and rescue teams with the equipment, including dogs teams specializing in searching and identifying the location of people under the rubble, a rescue and search team, a medical team, as well as first aid transported by a plane belonging to the National People's Army Air Forces. A warm welcome was also given to the Algerian civil defense elements in Tripoli by representatives of the Libyan national education, particularly teachers. We will never thank the Algerian people enough for the support they are giving us in this painful ordeal. Algeria has always been in solidarity with the Libyan people. We are very happy to have the support of the Algerian people. We give them all our gratitude. I thank the Algerian people and especially the government. We hope for safety to the Algerian civil defense elements in their missions. The Algerian delegation will travel to the east of Libya, more precisely to the city of Derna, devastated by the floods.
Still in Libya, the death toll keeps rising despite the ongoing rescue operations. A huge material damage has been also recorded, particularly in Derna. More details on this prevalent situation in Libya with Najah Tayyar once again.
Libya is in shock. Devastated streets, trees submerged with water, buildings turned to ruins and cars destroyed and overturned. This apocalyptic landscape had become the daily life of the city of Derna, disfigured by the violent torrents and floods caused by Sunday's storm. According to the International Organization for Migration, at least 30,000 people who lived in the city of 100,000 inhabitants were mobilized, and 600 dead, as well as over 30,000 are missing, as announced by the local Libyan authorities. This was God's will. I lost my sister and niece. May they be in heaven, and may God help us to go through this tragedy. This disaster caused numerous human losses. Hope that the Libyan government, the local authorities, and the international organizations offer all the help possible during this difficult period. And to help the victims, caravans of humanitarian aid continue to flow in the country in response to the call for international aid launched by the Libyan authorities.
In cooperation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received on Wednesday a phone call from his Italian counterpart, Antonio Tajani, regarding the situation in the Sahel region. In this regard, Ahmed Attaf informed his Italian counterpart of the encouraging feedback still being received for the initiative of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, for political settlement for the crisis in Niger. The Italian Foreign Minister reiterated his country's support for a political solution to this crisis, stressing in particular his support for the idea of organizing an international seminar on development in the Sahel region. The deteriorating situation in Mali was also at the heart of the two ministers' talks, where their points of view are convergent on the need for a speedy return to the implementation of the Peace and Reconciliation Accord stemming from the Algiers process. At the end, the rise in the movement of illegal immigration in the Mediterranean attracted the interest of both ministers, who exchanged views and analysis on the subject. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received the personal envoy of the UN Secretary General to Western Sahara, Staffan de Mistura, as part of his tour in the region. Attaf reiterated Algeria's full support of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' efforts and his personal envoy to Western Sahara, expressing his hope that these efforts will culminate in the revival of direct negotiations between both parties of the conflict, namely the Moroccan Kingdom and the Polisario Front. In other developments, the Caliph General of Tariqa Tijaniya or Brotherhood, Sheikh Ali Bilarabi Tijani, and the delegation accompanying him to Nigeria were received by the governor and authorities of the province of Boshi. Sheikh Ali Bilarabi is visiting Nigeria as part of the celebration of the birth anniversary of Sheikh Ahmed At-Tijani, the founder of Tariqa Tijaniya. In the context of the sustained efforts in the fight against terrorism and multifaceted organized crime, units and detachments of the People's National Army have executed during the period from the 6th to the 12th of the current month several operations that have resulted in quality results that reflect the high professionalism, vigilance, and permanent availability of our armed forces throughout the national territory. As part of the fight against terrorism, detachments of the PNA arrested 3 support elements to terrorist groups and discovered and seized 2 Kalashnikov machine guns, 4 traditionally made grenades, and a quantity of ammunition. As for fighting organized crime and the continuation of the tireless efforts aimed at countering the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the People's National Army intercepted in coordination with the different security services during operations across the military regions 55 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce 4 quintals and 9 kilograms of processed keef through the borders with Morocco, while 116,773 psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamanrast, Ingizam, and Borj Baji Mukhtar, detachments of the People's National Army arrested 66 individuals and seized 21 vehicles, 146 generators, 84 jackhammers, and 15 metal detectors, and 10 tons of mixture of raw gold and stones, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 37 other individuals were arrested and 24 hunting rifles were seized, in addition to 152 tons of tobacco, as well as 56 tons of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation, and 31,938 units of various beverages during separate operations across the national territory. Similarly, border guards, in coordination with the National Gendarmerie and Customs, also averted attempts to smuggle quantities of fuel estimated at 29,613 liters in Adrar, Tbistas, Qahras, and At-Tarif. On the other hand, border guards thwarted at the level of our national coast attempts at illegal immigration and rescued 77 individuals aboard traditionally made boats, while 87 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory. Abroad, the Geneva Support Group for Western Sahara expressed its concern facing the systematic violations of human rights by Morocco in the occupied Sahrawi territories. The group called on the High Commissioner of Human Rights to double the efforts to put an end to these practices and to allow the Sahrawi people their right to self-determination. These statements came before the 54th session of the UN Human Rights Council, the proceedings of which are still underway. Sports now, the Algerian volleyball team failed to win the African Championship held in Cairo after being defeated by the Egyptian side by 3-1 in the final game of the tournament. Worth mentioning that the Algerian squad has already secured its qualification to the upcoming World Championship. And with that, we end tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.